It's raining again in Forks. Life has a crazy way of not beginning until it ends. The ending is the beginning, and the beginning is forever. Here's to my forever. I call him Edward. That's my interpretation of how Bella views her life. This is how she starts every movie. It's all about Edward. If Edward didn't exist, I don't know if Bella would still be with us, guys. I don't know if she would have made it through life without this, I was gonna say person, but vampire. Now, if you're watching this from YouTube, then the last time I talked about these characters were like, I don't know, a few years ago with Twilight. If you're watching or listening from Spotify or any other streaming platform, the Blush Bunny Podcast, then the last time I talked about these characters were a few years ago. But I talked about Twilight, I talked about New Moon, and I talked about Eclipse. And then I stopped for no reason. I recorded something and then I didn't put it out. So now I'm doing it over. Now, here we are closing out the saga. I keep looking out my window because it is raining here in Forks. I don't live in Forks, but I live in a small town, so it might as well be Forks. I just moved, actually. If you notice, I have the same decor, but it's, different. Not really. Okay, let me focus. Here we are again to close out these lovely, well-respected, logical, relatable characters. So it's raining in Forks. Everyone has received their wedding invitations for Edward Cullen and Bella Swan. Now, there's a few reactions going on here. Let's go backwards. We have the mom, who, I guess from her reaction, is just now finding out that there's a wedding. She's been waiting for it to happen, but Bella has not gone over any of the details with her, given as though she received an invitation and said, "It's happening." Girl, you didn't know? Did she not call, "Hey mom, I'm actually gonna get married"? Like, that conversation didn't happen. So there's that. Charlie, this is doomsday for him. He didn't already tell her, Edward is not the one. He's not. Don't be with this guy. He's bad news. Yeah, I can respect some aspects of him, but no. And then we have Jacob's abs. I mean, not his abs. What do we have? Jacob Black. He's pissed. Reason being, the love of his life is going a different path. She already started that path. I already made it clear that if it's between Edward and anybody else on the planet, it will always be Edward. For some reason, that didn't stick with him. For some reason, it still has an emotional pull. Why? Don't know. But anyways, wedding preparation is on its way. Alice, of course, is planning everything, and she has Bella rehearsing her walk. Now, this is probably a small detail, but I have to touch on it as someone who does not wear heels. Why would you get stilettos for the wedding day for someone who doesn't wear heels? She should have flats or a little chunky small heel. The tall, skinny heel is like pushing it. Maybe that's just me. And Alice like, "Oh, you just have to break it in." I've been breaking it in for some time now. This is as good as it's gonna get. Seriously. So while they're having this conversation, Edward is over in a room regretting all of this. He can't say it, but he's like, this is not the life I want for her. I want her to live, not be undead like me. Not knowing being undead is the only way that Bella will ever enjoy her life. But then he later tells us what's on his mind. Come to find out, there's something about him that he has not let her know. Basically, he went off on a tangent for a minute. He kind of presents himself as a stand-up guy, not harming others, not being that type of vampire. But that's not completely true. He had a thirst at one point as a newborn, and he filled that thirst. And all she can say is, and. When I say Bella don't care, it does not matter what he does. She will always be there. It's very strange. He can cheat on her. He can steal. She's not going anywhere. And this is the story that they gave to millions around the world. Young girls, young guys, just toxic culture, She then has a whole nightmare about her wedding day. It starts off beautiful, and then there's this huge massacre that occurs. I would say that is a huge red flag. Our dreams sometimes tell us more than what we are willing to admit. That's still not enough for her. Again, nothing matters to her as long as she gets Edward, okay? I don't give a damn about none of this shit. Where's my man? That's what she gives. That's who she is. I mean, I don't know. But it is now the wedding day. She's nervous, which is a good sign. Because if you're nervous, that means you care, right? You care about what the outcome of all of this is going to be. Her parents, they come and they help her get ready with the family heirloom. Again, to be clear, I have not read the books. So I'm guessing the hair clip was like a huge deal, given that they did a close-up. It's kind of a weird shot because it's like hair clip, you know. I think that would have been nice as like a slow-mo. You know, I'm not going to critique in that way right now because then I'll just be talking about shots and all that stuff, and we don't have time for that. Greetings from the editing desk of Blush. Now, I just dropped the footage that I recorded earlier today, and in certain parts, not the whole thing, I'm doing like this. I'm doing like this, and I'm doing like this. You know, you would think the common sense would kind of settle in, but it didn't. So, bear with me through those parts. I'm gonna try my best to edit them out. And then I have the audacity to talk about the audio in this film. But I do acknowledge that I'm the last person who needs to be talking about anybody's audio. Yeah, enjoy the video. It's pretty funny, actually. I'm laughing as I'm looking back on the footage. Something is wrong with me. Alright. So all the guests are getting ready. They're waiting for this ceremony to begin. Some of their high school people are there, and one of them says something that's very pivotal. She's like, okay, so do you think Bella's gonna be showing? I think her name is Jess. Like, Jess, she's not pregnant. Why do you think that? She's like, okay, who else gets married when they're 18? Yeah. Who else is getting married at 18? Why would you get married at 18? That's when you're supposed to be living your life. But she's not doing that. She's getting married to Edward because Edward is her life. How long has Edward and Bella been dating at this point? Wait, when was it that a year passed? You know, she had those months that she was like in her room depressed. Has it been like a year or a year and a half? Either way, it's way too short to throw your life away for somebody you just met. A year is basically 5 minutes. And then it begins. The wedding that birthed a generation of weddings. The dress, the decor, the song. I'll surrender who I've been for who you are. That is where we are. Okay, I can't guarantee that I won't break out in song again, but no, the wedding is beautiful. I do have to say that. It's very whimsical. It's very fairy tale like. It's very dreamy, you know. They exchange vows and they go to the reception, which is equally as beautiful in decor. Very foresty, natural, whimsical, fairy tale like. But I do think it's interesting, even in it all, you know, Bella just marrying the man of her dreams or vampire of her existence. I don't know how to refer to him, so I'm gonna keep trying to find the right words. I do think it's interesting that she asked about Jacob in this moment. Now, they have been friends since she's moved there, right? Or even when they met when they were younger or something like that. I don't remember. But they've been friends for a little bit. And she knows that he is in love with her. Why do you think somebody who is in love with you would want to come to your wedding if you're not marrying them? I'm not coming to your wedding. Absolutely not. First of all, I'm going to have an altar and I'm going to be putting a hex on you because you did me wrong. No, I feel like I'm not going to do all that. I don't even know how to do that. No, I don't, for real. But I just think it's crazy to even, like, why do you think he'll come? Why would you asking his daddy, oh, have you heard from him? Girl, no. So they get on with their speeches. Of course, my favorite speech is from two people. Well, three. No. 4. No, everybody. I liked everybody's speech. Emmett being very inappropriate, at least to the viewing audience, aka the guest. Why would you say, I hope you got enough sleep because you're not gonna get any more for a while on the wedding night? Everybody know what that means. You gonna say that in front of her daddy? I mean, he meant something different, but it comes off a certain way. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Okay, and then we have the captain of the volleyball team. I love her because she's the only person who keeps it real. She's like, okay, this whole thing came out of nowhere. Bella was all into Edward, and then, Edward just becomes into Bella, and then now it's like they're getting married, even though she's not the captain of the volleyball team. Okay, aka, I'm the catch. I'm the catch. Why are you with her? I'm the catch. Then we have, wait, who else? Oh, the mom. She was very sentimental, very much so in her feelings. Her baby's getting married. And then we have Charlie threatening Edward as he should, take care of my child. Even though he was absent like most of her life or something like that. That's his baby. He loves her. So I'll give him a pass for being a deadbeat daddy. For now. I don't know. I'll think about it. I might take that back. Anyways. And then we have Edward with a very touching, here's to my wife. I feel like I've been waiting for this moment for a very long time. And the way that he said it was very clever because it was true. He's been here for hundreds of years. And now he finally gets someone that loves him despite being, the monster that he is. I think that's a very beautiful thing. And he's like, all the time in the world is not even enough. Okay, he doesn't say that exactly. I don't remember what he said, and I did not write it down. But he says something very beautiful in this moment. Just go back and watch it. And it's very touching. And he's like, here's to forever. So it got me in my feels. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, the guests, they go on with partying, and Edward has a surprise for Bella. It's another gift. The gift is her best friend, Jacob Black. Jacob and Bella slow dance in the middle of the woods with very faint music. So it was very offbeat, but they're having a conversation. He's going to miss her. He's going to miss all the human qualities of her, which is understandable. He's known her for a while. He knows her in a certain light. So that switch from being the Bella he knows to this new creature, literally, is going to be an adjustment, especially since naturally they don't get along. They are not supposed to be friends or interact or anything like that, right? So during this conversation, she lets him in on some very important information. He's thinking this is the last night of her human self. And she's like, well, no, we're gonna wait because I don't want to go through all that craziness during my honeymoon. Like, I want to enjoy my honeymoon, I don't want to be in pain and hurting on the inside or whatever goes on during the transition. And he's like, okay, what does any of that matter? Because you're not going to have a normal honeymoon. Like, you're not going to be, baking cookies. You're not going to be doing that. So what you talking about? And Bella's like, yes, I am. It's going to go down. But she's like, well, no, that is going to happen. So now he's upset. It is a little bit awkward to be discussing your intimate life with someone who is crazy in love with you, but you're talking about doing it with someone else. But it's really about her safety, because as a vampire, I guess it's going to be like really intense. It's a different level, supposedly, of intensity. And he's like, you ain't going to be able to take that. It's going to be a lie. Now, how does he know this, though? Like, do they talk about what vampires do behind closed doors? Like, how do they know? Like, his tribe, the Huyaks. What's their names? Kuyats. Of course, Bella don't care. Okay? She don't care about nothing but Edward. She saw Edward at the end of that aisle when she was walking down to get married, and she's like, yeah, there he is. There's my life. Nothing matters to her. She is ready to risk her whole, forever might not come for you if this goes wrong, is basically what Jacob is saying, and she don't care. So Edward comes in and he's like, chill out. This is not any of your business. This is our business. He's like, you'll kill her, which is true. Like, why would you even risk it? Now, Bella is hard-headed, but you have to put your foot down at some point. Stop letting her run you. You already know how you are as a vampire. Why would you let her dictate every single thing that you do? Just kiss me. Oh, I don't care. And then, you gotta care at some point. Like, stop letting her run you. They say their goodbyes. Of course, her parents don't know that this is intended to be the final goodbye. So they're like, oh, take care of yourself and, have fun and, wear sunscreen. And she ain't gonna need no sunscreen in a minute, child. Like, not even a little bit. The sun will not see her. Okay, she will be in the shadows. Charlie, of course, is still over Edward. Be careful and get on the plane wherever the plane is going. Like, you taking my child away. And now I don't even know where she's going. But okay, when you come back, just know that your room is always your room. You can always come back when it don't work out with this dude because he ain't it. Okay? And Bella's just like, girl, just tell them that you ain't gonna see them no more. Okay? Put them out of their agony. So they get in the car, and one of the saddest things ever happens. We hear Jacob's cry, and you know it's him because which other wolf is crying in the woods right now? Okay, he just lost his lover that never was. He just lost his best friend, and now she's going off to bake some cookies and die. This is a lot for him. He's going through it. They go away to Brazil, I think. Again, very beautiful. One thing about this movie, it makes you want to live forever. Because as a vampire, you're here for all these years. Centuries go by. You're going to stack up some bread. That means you can have the world at your fingertips. Why is it some lint from this thing? Yeah, because being a broke vampire is like crazy. You've had hundreds of years. You should have some money to go away to your own. It's still some lint on my. I'm not getting up. If it's there, it's just gonna be there. Even though it's annoying the crap out of me. Focus. Having your own island, Al Esme. I still don't like that name, but that's pretty dope. And again, it's so beautiful. The place that they're in is so beautiful. The little house on the island is all glass. It's very comfortable, very boho chic. I'm like, wow, this is the life I'm supposed to be living. Maybe I've been too hard on Bella because she's living it up. I'm gonna have to re-examine the way that I think about her. They get to this island. And, it's their wedding night. So wedding night things are about to go down. But first, she needs some human minutes. Why did she use that? And it's so funny because I just saw a clip of Stephanie Meyer saying that if she were to go back to rewrite these books, she would rewrite every single thing that she wrote. She like, what was I thinking? Which in hindsight, I love when people say, you know what, I would have done this differently or that different. She like, I would have done everything differently. And that's how you grow as an artist, which is very great to see. Because some people be like, no, I would keep it the same. Which, of course we know that everything happens the way that it's supposed to. So if you were to change something, then that would be like a butterfly effect. And then you have, the outcome might not be the same. But you get what I'm saying. I might cut this part out because I am rambling. Focus. Okay. What was I talking about? What happened? What happened next? Oh, so it's, she shaves her legs and stuff. But why didn't you do that the night before for your wedding day? Girl, you supposed to be prepared. You the one who want all this stuff to go down. You supposed to come prepared. Clean. Okay? Smooth. Oiled up. But whatever. They go out into the ocean. She's all nervous and stuff because it's about to happen. The thing that she's been wanting. He's nervous too, but he's playing it cool. They're looking at the moon. It's beautiful. And then it goes down. Now, I have to ask this question, and it may be inappropriate, but it goes with the lining of this whole story. This is basically the build-up. This is what everybody has been wanting to see. What would it be like to bake cookies with a vampire? I'm kind of curious. Now, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't know what it's like anyways because I don't participate in those activities. I can't even say it with a straight face. Hold on. I'm gonna do it again. I don't participate in stuff like that. Wait. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna get it. Whew, okay. Hold on. Hold on. Whoop. I can't do it. Wait. Okay, I'm gonna do it for real. Because this is my honest truth. I wonder, what would it be like to be intimate with a vampire? Now, to be clear, I wouldn't know because I don't participate in those type of humanly activities. Was that good? Did I do good? Was it believable though? Like, would you believe me if I said that to you? Or like, should I do it? I need to do it again. No. That was a lot. But no, it's like, okay, this man, well, I don't know what to refer to him as. Edward breaks the bed with his bare hands during this encounter. So it's like, if you have that amount of strength in your upper torso, the limbs, what's going on with the bottom limbs? How much strength is being thrusted into this orbit? I don't know how to refer to this stuff right now because this is crazy. Then, and I'm sure, a lot of people have done these videos and, people have read the books. So let me know. Because with him being a vampire, how does the spatula get rolled up? If you catch my drift. Like, how does that happen if you don't have no blood? Inquiring minds wonder. Let's go on. If I have only felt the warmth within your touch, if I had only seen how you smile when you blush. That is, first of all, it's a beautiful song. Y'all know I play on here all day long with my not so bad singing. But the song is beautiful. She wakes up and she is in bliss. The room is tortured. There's stuff everywhere. He's broke the entire bed. There's feathers everywhere from all the wildness that was going on. But she loves it. She's in a very comfortable state. She has her robe on and in a high right now. And nothing can make her come down. She's biting her lip, slowly opening her eyes, rubbing all on herself, reminiscing about last night because they had a night. Okay. And so he interrupts this and asks her how badly is she hurt. And she's like, what are you talking about? The girl has bruises all over her body. Now, if he did that to the bed by mistake with barely touching it, it doesn't surprise me that she has bruises everywhere. It gets rough, which is precisely why Jacob thought she was going to be kaput by the next morning. Of course, this is Bella we're talking about. So she don't care. What do you mean? You didn't do anything. What? No. Okay, she doesn't talk like that. But she's just like, I don't care. How can you not see how perfectly happy I am right now? Yes, you beat me up a little bit, but it was okay. It was basically what she's saying. She don't care about nothing. I don't ever want to know how it feels to just not care about myself. Like, she don't care about
herself at all. As long as Edward is okay, as long as he's around, that's the only thing that matters. It's very weird. So he's like, listen, things have gone too far already, and I don't want to continue this. We're not doing this again, okay? We're gonna spend the rest of this time going swimming, playing chess. If he had a PlayStation, he'll plug that up too. Or let's play the Wii bowling game. You know, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. This is not gonna end well. We keep doing it. Not doing it again. And that's it. Okay, he didn't say it like that, but he wanted to. She ends up begging him to massage her insides. And he's like, no. But you know, Edward don't put his foot down with nothing, so he ends up doing it. And then we cut to Jacob, who is imagining what is going on with this whole transition thing. You know, what would they tell her family and how will things be? And he's like, you know, at least I'll be able to get my revenge on Edward. You know, I can take him out now because he violated the treaty. And Sam is like, no, you cannot do that. And Jacob's like, you know, well, the treaty says. And then Sam is like, what the fuck did I just say? I said no. Okay, he didn't say it like that. But what? He wanted to. Okay, shut your ass up. I said no. So they started talking about imprinting, which I still don't know if I completely understand. But it seems like it's like a more intense, you know, genetic version of like soulmates, you know, or twin flames, but like times 10. And Jacob, he just being a hater because he can't have Bella and he ain't found nobody else yet. And everybody else like, you know, at least you have someone and at least you're happy. He's like, they're not happy. Like, stop being a hater. Okay, you see they over there, la 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 la. You know, they're smiling and laughing and you sitting up here being bitter on the beach. You on a beach. Who don't want to be on the beach right now? I know I don't want to be in Forks, but they are in Forks. But you get what I'm saying. Then we cut back to Edward and Bella on their honeymoon. You know, they just did some things that they should not have been doing. The maid knows what Edward is, so she's kind of like freaked out, not wanting to be there, but you know, she's doing her job. Edward goes out to find food for himself while Bella eats uncooked chicken. Why is the chicken so red and bloody and just nasty? I don't know. She fried it for like 2 seconds in that pan, but whatever, with no seasoning, may I add. And so she's eating this chicken. She's eating the chicken and she all of a sudden starts to feel sick. I would think that you would feel sick from uncooked chicken, but she starts to place together that the reason why she's sick is because she missed her period. And the reason why she missed her period is because she's been doing things she's not supposed to be doing. Now, this is exciting for her in a way. She's amazed by the fact that this is happening right now because in real life or in human life, you know, you don't know this right away unless you're Jada Pinkett. When I conceived, I knew it from the very moment. Like, she said it while her and Will were in the act, but we're not going to go down that road. But yeah, she knows that this is what's happening. And she's like, how is this even possible? But it's possible because I feel it in my stomach. Edward is standing there shocked. You know, this is not a good thing. I think Alice calls in that moment and Alice is like, Edward, no. Who does she talk to? Bella. What's going on? And Bella's like, I don't know. You know, this is what's going on right now. And Edward's standing there looking like a statue. And so Carlisle says, you know, he can get this out of her. Edward refers to it as a thing. And Bella's like, thing? This is my baby. What do you mean thing? She really doesn't know what to think at this point because not only is she feeling alone in this because his reaction was not remotely what she wanted it to be or thought it would be in a moment like this. Something that she thought was impossible is happening. She never thought she would be a mom, not with him, not in this way, but instead of it being a joyful moment for the two of them, she's very alone in it and she doesn't know how to compute that. So the maid comes back because she's like, he's gonna kill this girl if I don't come back and check on her, so let me go see. She comes back. He asks, hey, can you help? I know that you're knowledgeable about this stuff. Can you please tell me how I help her? How do I help her? She's like, Mort, which means death, right? I don't know if that's how she pronounced it. I will have to go back and watch, but that's what she said. I don't know if that's what she said, but we're gonna say that's how she said it. Okay, that's what it sounded like to me. Now, so they get back to town. Bella calls her dad. She says that she's sick. Charlie tells this to Jacob. And of course, Jacob's first thought is like, oh, she's sick. That means the transition happened. That means this is my time to go over there and do what I need to do, and off with his head. Right? Gets to the house, the Cullen house, and everybody's acting really weird. They're standing around, nobody's saying much. Rosalie is standing in front of Bella, and we see this much of her face. She looks different even from that angle, but can't really tell what's going on yet. At least Jacob can. We know what's going on, but he can't see. And so, he asks like, okay, what's up? And Bella goes, you want to help me up? Well, no, first he tells her she looks like crap, which she does when he finally sees her face. Like, she looks like death itself. It's really bad, right? But she gets help standing up, and the belly is exposed. She's only been home for 2 weeks, but she looks like she's a good, 7 months pregnant. It's very weird. It's been a month. Jacob automatically gets upset because to everyone at this point, this should not be possible. She should not be able to conceive a child with a vampire. Yet and still here we are. So Jacob's ready to kill Edward at this point, and I can't blame him because it's like every time he thinks, okay, it's going to be like this and it's not going to get any worse, it gets worse. Jacob has been going through it this whole entire time. There's nothing looking up for him. It just keeps getting bad. It goes from worse to worse, sir. And this is his friend. He really cares about this girl. So they're talking about, they don't know what it is. They're trying to research it, and it's very little information that they can find about what is happening with Bella, because this is happening rapidly, which I think, any woman who has been through a pregnancy might appreciate the fast pace of this, because this is very much, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You conceive the child, and then a month later, you're ready to pop. That's not a bad bet right there. I was going to say something else, but I don't even want to put that out into the universe. I'll let y'all know what I was just thinking. I would not be surprised. Okay, and keep this on the low. Don't go spreading this. I would not be surprised if they come up with a way for humans to have these microwave pregnancies. The way this world is going right now, you just never know, But I don't even want to give them the idea. We're going to act like I didn't just say that really quick before I get back to this. Something that's crazy? When I be on here talking to y'all, I feel like I am just talking to y'all. I'm posting this on the internet for anybody to see at any given time. But I feel like I'm just talking to the blush bunnies. And although I have not met you guys in person yet, because I definitely want to do like meet and greets or like movie nights or something down the line. But it just feels so familiar and very intimate and very much like it's just me and you. It doesn't feel like the whole world has access to this. But I think it's because I really do have a connection with you guys. I talk to you guys all the time, all day long. If you write me, I'm going to write you back. Okay. But sometimes, because, YouTube be playing with the comments. And sometimes a comment will be there and then it'll be gone. And I'll be like, wait, what happened? And then 2 weeks later, it'll pop up again. And I'm just like, okay. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, I just don't remember that outside of blush bunnies that people are actually watching this. So I have to keep that in mind with things that I say. Okay, back to the show. So then Edward pulls Jacob to the side and he's like, let me talk to you, okay? Because I didn't intend for this to happen. But since this happened, I need you to help me out. I need you to try to get through to Bella because she don't listen to shit I say. For some reason, she has a connection to you and I don't understand it because you ain't all that, which is a lie because we all know Jacob is the one. Okay, that's a body, yada, 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 body, yada, 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 yada. Jacob got the body, okay? So Edward's just like, I don't get whatever this is that you guys have, but since you have it, I might as well use it to my advantage and please talk to this girl. And Jacob's like, okay, and then what? What if she dies anyways? And Edward's like, okay, if she dies, then you get to do what you always wanted to do and off me. So Jacob is like, Why you ain't just lead with that? Yeah, I'll talk to her. This, you should have led with that. So Bella's like, so Edward, he sent you in here to talk to me, huh? And Jacob was like, I don't know why you don't listen. You don't listen to nobody. I don't know why he thought I can get through to you. But I do want to say, this is crazy as hell. What the fuck is you doing? Okay, well, he didn't say it like that, but he wanted to. And she's just like, I see him and he's just going to be beautiful and great. And my baby's going to be everything. And I'm going to be able to see him grow up and do all these things. And Jacob's like, no, you're not. You're going to die in the process of this. Okay. And I'm not sticking around to see it. Nobody's on Bella's side except for Rosalie because she wanted to have a family of her own and never got the chance to. And so she understands Bella being protective of her fetus. And I can't blame Jacob for, still standing his ground on not wanting anything to do with any of this. Because, he leaves and she's like, why are you leaving? And he's like, I know how this ends. I'm not sticking around to see you die because you want to be hard-headed. Like, you don't listen. You are not making it to see the light of day after this. No, cut it out. You loving him, me loving you, or me loving you, you loving him. However he said it does feel like it'll be all in vain because, girl, you're not even here. And now we gonna be fighting for the rest of our lives because you play too damn much. So this next scene is kind of annoying to me because, and I'm the last person to talk about anybody's sound production. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to work my wonders on this sound of this video. But I'm also not a professional, so it does not apply to me. It does. Now, Jacob, he's pissed. He runs off because, again, it goes from worse to worser with his best friend, right? He runs off in the Wolfpack. I kept saying pride earlier. What's the pride? What am I thinking about when I say pride? The Lion King. I'm thinking about Simba's pride, the Lion King too. Y'all know what I meant. So he goes off. The Wolfpack knows that Bella has this thing growing inside of her. And they're like, we have to protect everybody. We can't think about Bella. So she gonna have to go. That thing gonna have to go. Whatever's in her belly is kaput. Okay? Now, while they're having this conversation, they're doing it as wolves. So it's growling, but they're also speaking in plain English for us to know what they're saying. But it's happening all at one time. And I'm just like, I don't know if the mix is off, but the growls and the talking is kind of like a lot going on. And I'm trying to follow the conversation and I'm not quite getting it. So I had to put the subtitles on. I know some people watch TV and movies with subtitles. I'm not one of those people unless I absolutely have to. And this was one of those moments. But basically, and that's the last thing I'm gonna say about the production. Maybe. I don't know. Basically, Jacob wants to protect Bella, the baby. Sam said no. They have to go. And Jacob said, okay, well, I'm leaving this wolf pack and I'm just going to be a wolf pack of one. Okay. So I don't really know how I feel about them offing Bella and her fetus at this point because it's the unknown. We don't know what's going to happen. This new hybrid can destroy everything. If Bella is collateral damage, then so be it. But at the same time, I like Bella, even though she a little bit slow, very codependent, depressing, and lifeless. I like her. Did Bella laugh at all in this movie, in this series? I know she chuckled from time to time, but did she laugh like a laugh? I don't know. I'll have to go back and watch. Anyways, let's continue. So when he runs off, Boo Boo and Leah, they follow him. What's his name in this? Seth. Seth and Leah follow him. And, he's like, I didn't ask you guys to follow me and you can't be here, blah, blah, blah. And Seth is like, I ain't trying to hear none of that. I'm coming with you. Leah is used to third wheeling. Neither one of them want her to be there. And she's like, I'm used to not being wanted. I'm not going back to be the pathetic ex-girlfriend who can't get away from her lover. You don't know how it feels not to imprint on someone. And Jacob's like, yeah, just to break the connection. So they having their little loser talk. And so now we wait. Now everybody is on fetus watch. What is going to happen? What is going to become of Bella and this thing that is growing inside of her? Edward is on the internet Googling pictures, making things 10 times worse. Why is you looking it up? You don't know what's going to happen. You're making it worse. He's looking up all these little demon babies and stuff. And it's just like, yeah, it's possible that that's what it's going to be. But you don't want to feed into that, right? Let's just remain optimistic, and let's just say it's going to be really normal. How about that? So Bella gets examined from Dr. Carlisle. right? And he's like, this baby is really like taking the life out of you. I mean, you can see it visually, but your ribs are broken, your insides are just becoming mush, and this is not going to end well. This is not going the route that it should be going for it to be a healthy, progressive pregnancy, right? And Edward finally, in some way, but not really, puts his foot down. The reason why I say not really is because, I mean, at this point, it's already in motion, but he is upset. He's very upset, and he expresses it that you've given me no choice. He tells her that she made this choice, this decision on her own. They're partners, but he doesn't feel like they're in this together. She's like, well, even though I won't be here, you'll have him, and he'll be a part of me, and you'll have a part of me. He like, you think I'm about to be around this thing after he took your life? That ain't about that. The girl, no. And so now we wait some more. And then here comes another scene that just takes me out. It gives me like Eclipse, I'm hotter than you vibes, right? Bella's on the couch. She's cold. She's losing blood. She's losing her insight. She's losing her life. And Jacob comes over to warm her up. And he's like, don't do that. Don't look at me like I'm your most favorite person in the world. And she's like, you're one of them. Mind you, her husband is sitting right there. And then she goes, everything just feels complete when you're here. So I'm not enough. I'm Edward right now. I'm not enough. He gotta be here for things to feel complete. Are you serious right now? Are you kidding me? I don't know how Edward did it this entire time. It's one thing for Jacob to feel away, because she was never choosing you. But for Edward, he says that he doesn't understand this connection, but you're just letting a lot of things rock. You're just letting him say what he wants, she saying what she wants, and you're just watching it. I don't think I would have been able to do that. But let's carry on. So I think I forgot to mention that all this time, Bella hasn't really been able to retain any food or any liquids or anything, right? Which is typical during the early months of pregnancy, I guess, or pregnancy period. But this one's a little bit different, right? So they don't know if she is gonna be able to retain any food anytime soon. Jacob has a thought that Edward read in his mind. And the thought is the fetus just wants something to sink its teeth into. Carlisle just so happens to have some blood waiting in the wings for Bella. And everybody leaves because it's human blood, right? And they make sure that our Sergeant General, Lieutenant Colonel, whatever he was, they make sure that he leaves the room first because, with him wanting to kill Bella not too long ago, it's best that he's not in the room for sure. Emmett leaves because he's like, it's been a minute for me too. Everybody leaves except for the people who can stomach it. Though Jacob can barely stomach it, but he's like, I just want to see, like, you really gonna make her drink this, right? She takes a gulp through a straw and it's thick, okay? It goes up very slowly. And I'm sitting here like, I feel like I can taste it. And Jacob is like, you really drinking that, right? She likes it. She likes it. Her baby likes it. And so this is her new meal, blue blood slush. In the meantime, Charlie still has no idea that his daughter is up the street, okay? He thinks she's, I don't know, in a hospital somewhere. So she's telling him like, Dad, I'm going to Switzerland for a spa day or a spa convention or a center, whatever she called it. And you're like, Bella, I'm getting on the plane and I'm coming to see you. Like, what are you talking about? You're sick. You're not really telling me what's going on. And she's like, it's going to be okay, Dad. Just visualize me eating pizza on the couch next to you. He's like, visualize. You want me to visualize when I can just come see you? You want me to pretend when I can just come see you? Girl, you done lost your damn mind. I'm getting my ass on this plane. And I'm going to come see what's going on with you. Where's her mama at? Like, I get it that her mom took care of her for like first 16 years or whatever, but she always MIA when it's important. Like, why is she not calling to check on her child? This is interesting. Anyways, he is over it, okay? But then we have this sweet moment next where Edward is sitting there with Bella. And she's talking, and as she talks, he's like, wait, what did you say? Huh? What was that? Every time she speaks, he can hear the baby. And he's like, oh, he likes your voice. He likes my voice. Wow, he's beautiful being. He's not like me. He's like you. And Bella's like, I knew it. Y'all didn't believe me. my god. But she's feeling vindicated, okay? Because nobody believed her. Nobody thought that this would be a good thing. Nobody thought that the baby would be real. They're all waiting for this monster to come out. But now it's feeding time, you see, because Bella has run out of her Bloody Marys, and Carlisle and the rest of the family haven't eaten in I don't know how long, right? They need their strength because they have an uphill battle that they're facing with protecting Bella and protecting this fetus. So Jacob creates a diversion so that the Cullens can go out to hunt. And then we go into the naming ceremony. It's not a ceremony, but it's an event. So luckily, again, the characters in the movie are not so obsolete that they're like, yeah, let's do this, all the time. Rosalie, in this case, is the voice of reason because Bella has come up with two very interesting names. The first one is just as interesting as the second one, if you ask me. She says, if it's a boy, then his name will be EJ. Eric. Not Eric. What's his name? Edward. Why am I getting everybody's name wrong? EJ stands for Edward Jacob. And so they show Edward in that moment, and he has a slight smile, but it's a very uncomfortable smile. And then they go to Jacob, who is a little bit more flattered, but not like completely satisfied. And again, Bella has no issue with disrespecting her husband left and right. This is your husband now, and you're gonna name him after the man that is in love with you? I just don't know if that's appropriate. But anyways, then we go to the girl name. And it's so... I really hate when people mix names that should not be mixed. Or a name, that they try to feminize or make masculine. Like, in this, no offense to anybody that has this name. But like, Henrietta? Why would you do that? Or Roberta, I can go. I don't want to offend anybody. But I don't like when people do that with names. It's not fair to the child. You have to go your whole life introducing yourself. And it affects you. Mentally, emotionally. This is a lifelong decision that someone else makes for you. And it can really suck if they don't make a good choice. That is what is happening with Bella's child. The girl name she has decided on is Renesmee. Renee, her mother. And Esme, Edward's mother. I don't, why would you do that? That is so mean. Like, that's so hurtful. You're really fighting for this child inside of you. And all you can come up with is disrespect, EJ, and just awfulness. Renesmee. It's not okay, but let's keep going. But this whole naming ceremony is like rudely interrupted by an earth-shattering realization. And that is that Bella is going into labor. Now, the reason being, they say that the placenta detached, and that's why the baby is coming. Her dropping down to the floor like that was a little bit funny. I'm not gonna lie. It's not funny, but it is. But it's not, because it's like, okay, this is a pregnant lady. She's been going through it. She's very fragile. But the visualization, you want me to visualize, is pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna talk about that. So she goes into labor, and the labor is very harmless, at least for the fetus, because it turns out it's a baby. Like, it's just a regular baby, like Rosalie said. It's just a baby, and it's a girl. We have Renesmee. But the only thing about it is now Bella didn't make it. She didn't make it through the labor. which is very sad because now everybody's crying. Jacob wants to kill Edward, but he's not going to because that would be too easy. You have to suffer with me, okay? If I have to be here without her, you have to be here without her. How about that? Live forever. Eventually I'll die, but you'll still be here missing her. That's more painful, and that's where I'm going to take this. I agree. That's the best way to do it. You know, Edward tries to save her with his venom, but it doesn't work. And now we just have this lifeless skeletal form laying on the table and a baby that was born from all of this madness. But it gets better. Well, besides the fact that everybody wants to now kill this baby. But other than that, it gets better. Weirdly. And, you know, again, I know this is something that people have talked about for many years now. I have to say this. Because in the next scene, Jacob approaches the baby. He's about ready to offer to, you know, the baby killed his baby. Whose dog is barking? Is that Jacob outside? He's ready to kill his baby, right? And so the thing that stops him in his tracks, quite literally, is the fact that his genetics tell him to. And what I mean by that, he imprints on the baby. Now, again, my understanding of imprinting is that it's a soulmate, but even deeper. When he imprints, he sees his whole life flash before him. His life with Renesmee. He sees her growing up, and he sees her in a way that someone with a 16, 17-year age gap should not be seeing a baby. Now, during his vision, he has this like monologue voiceover thing, and in it he's like, you know, it's like gravity, but not. It's like the ocean, but dry. It's like, you know, he goes through all these things. And he says something to the effect of, you'll do anything for this person. You know, you'll be a friend, a brother, there till the end to support. And that's how he ends the speech about being a friend and a brother type. But it's like, no. Because up until this point, imprinting has been talked about in a romantic sense. So we're not gonna act like y'all been talking about brother-sister bonds this whole time. Like we're not. Like I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I didn't just see everybody hugged up on the beach and y'all was talking about imprinting. I'm not gonna pretend like Leah hasn't been third wheeling for the past 10 years or however long, like until Sam imprinted. Like we're not act like that's not how this goes, you know? But that's what they want us to do at this point. I feel like that should have been explained early on. Also, if Jacob had the same rapid build up as Renesmee, meaning his life was like speed pass. You know, if he was born within a month of conception, you know, if he was like her, then it wouldn't be as weird because it's like you guys are the same species, right? But this is not the case, and so it makes it weird and creepy and like. And again, Stephanie has said herself that she wishes she can just go back and rewrite the whole thing. She might rewrite everything. You know, the Twihards will probably not like it, but people who came on later, like me, who wasn't there from the beginning, I think I'll like it because this is weird, really weird. But you know, since Jacob has imprinted, now nobody can harm this baby because according to Edward, that is their number one rule that they cannot break. They cannot harm this child because Jacob is her big brother now. In the midst of all of this, Bella she's laying down. She's no longer with us. But her transformation has commenced because the venom actually worked. It didn't work like automatic, but Edward was successful in turning her. She goes from being undead to undead again. But now she's a newborn with extra pale skin, very beautiful, and red pupils. Where is this going to lead us to? I don't know, but I'm here for it. I don't know if I'm going to make this video a two-parter or if I'm going to do, you know, one long video. I don't know, but I'm about to do Breaking Dawn Part 2. I might save that for another. No, whatever I decide. First, comment, imprint so that I know that you made it to the end of the video. Okay, because this movie was a little bit weird. Second thing I want to know. One, without being too over the top, please let me know, what do you guys think? Or even if you read the books, what do you think it would be like to be with a vampire in a more intimate setting? Don't be crazy. Be very discreet. Also, what do you think about the whole imprint thing? Because is it just me? Like, I know that I can't be the only one that's like, why did she approach it like that? What else? What else I want to know? The wedding. Are you guys inspired? You know, if you did get married after Twilight, did you do the whole wedding thing like that? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people use those songs. Were you a part of the wave of naming your child Renesmee? Because if you are, please, I really want to know your thought process behind that. We're not gonna sit here and act like that's a cute name, because it's, I mean, come on, I want to know what's going on in your head to do that. Like, I understand being a fan and everything, but absolutely not. And then, yeah, what do you think about the first half of Breaking Dawn, and what were your first thoughts upon seeing the film itself? And did you see it in theaters? I really want to know. And whatever else you want to add. But those are my specific things that I want to talk to y'all about. I think that's it for now. This is the intermission. I'm not going to record right now because I actually need to edit another video. So I'm going to go and make time for that. And then I'm going to record in maybe a day or two. I may or may not be wearing my Bella inspired outfit. It's too big, but this is the only thing that I can find that I can layer up. I don't even think she would wear a white shirt like this. I mean, she did in the movie. She wore white, but it wasn't like, this shirt is just too big. Okay. So it doesn't look the way that I wanted it to look, but I didn't feel like changing. So here it is. I will record not tomorrow, but the day after for part 2. So I'll see you in a second. Pause the video though and respond to those questions, and then we will continue. Okay. Every day waiting for you. And we are back. As you can see, I'm not wearing my Bella inspired outfit because, you know, I didn't feel like it. So I'm wearing my hoodie. Also, I will not be holding the microphone because clearly I don't know what I'm doing with this audio, and I need to just stick to the basics until I can get it right. So if you're still here, it's because you really rock with me. If you left, you're not welcome back. I know, I'm just I'm joking. So we left off with part 1, and now for the conclusion of the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn part 2. Now the last part we left off on, Bella has just been re-entered into the world as a newborn vampire, and she just gave birth to a baby that might have been a demon, but we really don't know what it is yet. It looks normal, but who's to say that that means anything? I mean, think about the people you know in your life. So Bella awakens from her very last slumber, and she's different. She's more pale. She has red eyes, naturally voluminous eyelashes, like her eyelashes popping. The hair looks better, and apparently she can see everything now. All the tiny particles in the carpet, you know, lint floating in the air. She can see everything. She can hear differently, and she has super strength. Now, Edward is just there, you know, he sees her for the first time awake, and he's just in awe with her beauty, right? And she is beautiful, but it's a little awkward. And it's awkward because, like, I understand they were showing, like, oh, you know, she's a vampire. She has these special abilities now. But I think her movements were throwing me off a little bit. The silence. She didn't say anything to him for like 3 minutes. And then it was like, I love you. So she says something about Renesmee. She's like, you know, oh, like, yeah, I just had a baby like 5 seconds ago. Where is she? I want to see her. And Edward's like, well, no, you need to get some stuff out of your system first, because if you see our baby, you might try to, you know what I'm saying? You might try to, the baby might not see too many more days if you see her right now. So let's get your system in order. And then another awkward moment happens where she suddenly is like thirsty for blood. Why wasn't she already in her, I don't know, like how crackheads be? Well, can I say that on this video? First of all, I don't know any crackheads that I know of. But in the movies, you know, they be fiending for stuff. They already have that itch and that thing that they do, right? She didn't have that going. Like, she just all of a sudden was thirsty. It was just awkward. So they go out into the woods. She's running. Again, she's seeing everything so differently now. And it's beautiful. Like, imagine being able to have super, super, super deep, far sight. Like, I'm far sighted. Wait, is that how it works? With eyesight, what do you call it? Just imagine having the ability to see and hear and run at a freaking crazy pace. I can't say that I would not enjoy those aspects of this lifestyle. You know, I can just do whatever I want to do. Like, say you have to go to work, you can be done with your work in 30 minutes. But they're on this trail and she's supposed to be hunting this deer. However, there is someone else out there, a human being, a man. He's rock climbing. She smells him. Naturally, that's what she don't want this deer. She wants the man. It takes a lot for her to like restrain herself, because apparently as a newborn, that's when you're your strongest. That's when you're your most thirsty and hungry for, you know, new blood. And she's just like in agony, like, oh, I want to go. Like, why would you bring me out here? And Emperor's like, Bella, I'm sorry. I did not know that it would be people all the way out here. That is not how you talk. He was like, Bella, I didn't know. Am I doing the same voice? I'm doing the same voice. Y'all know what he said. But seeing that, it's like, okay, this is going to be interesting because you just had a baby and you already going for a human, because that's what you naturally crave right now. How is this going to go with your newborn, who is at least part human, right? Well, in the next scene, Jacob has that same question. Now, as we all know, he imprinted on the baby. And again, I don't care what nobody say, because it was not explained in the film as like a big brother type, in that it was not romantic. Okay, so this is really, 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 really weird. We're gonna move on and just talk about it. So he's like, hey, you know, you look the same and I didn't think you would look like that, and let's test this out on me before you see the baby. And she's all, well, when did you start caring about Renesmee? Edward doesn't want to get into it right now because he's like, listen, it's already a lot going on. Don't bring up the whole imprint thing right now, okay? So Bella sniffs Jacob and she's like, yeah, you stink and I'm ready to see my baby. Like, what? So they move on. Bella holds her baby for the first time. Now, I'm not going to go into all the CGI aspects of it, because I know that people have talked about this for years. I just want to say it's very, very, very unpleasant to look at. And I don't understand why they decided to do that. Of all things, I would have taken a freaking dummy doll, you know, but we get the CGI baby. And this, you know why it bothers, I'm sure everybody, but why it bothers me is because this is a part of the buildup. You have this child born from a human and vampire that looks like a regular child. So it's not like she had like fangs and crazy hair, you know, it was none of that going on. If she had, then that's when you say, okay, we're gonna do the CGI thing and kind of doctor it up. She just a regular baby. Why you ain't just cast somebody baby? I'm sure somebody on that set got a baby, or a cousin, niece, something. But no, we get like PlayStation back in 2000 CGI. She holds her baby. Her baby shows her first moments on this planet. It's quite beautiful. She has a gift of showing things of what was. Maybe she can see into the future. I don't know. We haven't gotten there yet. But she can see the past. So she can see and show things that have already happened. Everybody's doing okay with it until we get to Jacob. Everybody's doing okay with Bella holding her baby as a newborn. They're both newborns. But then Jacob's like, okay, enough of that. Give me the baby. So just in case you got something else going on, or if you pop off, I want to make sure she's safe. And Bella again is like, what? Why you keep trying to protect my daughter? What's going on with you? Now Jacob has to explain this very weird concept of imprinting. But before he even gets to it, she already knows what he's about to say, because he's like, it's not what you think it is, and it's a wolf thing, and da da da. She snatched him up so fast, took him outside, and just started hauling on him. Now, I don't condone violence, but I understand and I condone it in this moment, because what do you mean? What do you mean? What does any of this mean? She's upset, understandably so. Jacob, he tries to explain it again. This time he's like, none of this made sense for me to be so into you not paying me any attention, being into Edward, me being around all of this all the time, subjecting myself to this. For what? Knowing that I wasn't going to get anything out of it. All this time it had nothing to do with you. It was all about Nessie. Now, why did this just trigger her so much and say that famous line about the Loch Ness Monster? Again, I'm gonna say that Stephanie wrote this. I don't know if she did, but if this is in the book, it's like, girl, you could have came up with something better than that. Now, come on, like seriously. Who has nicknamed the Loch Ness Monster? And why is that the first thought you have? Third, you named your child Renesmee. You can't talk about no type of nicknames. No, you can't talk about nothing. Think about when she started going to school. Them kids gonna have some nicknames for her. Get over it. So Edward is laughing it up, because he just thinks he's so amused by all of it. Everybody's just standing there watching her beat him up. She kicked Seth. And so, okay, the one thing that I will give it is that Jacob did say, it's not like that. It's not what you think it is. If it was like that, would you think Edward would even let me around and keep me here? And Edward is very well versed in this whole wolf culture. So maybe it is not as bad, but I feel like it should have been explained a little bit better so it would not be so creepy, So after she beats him up and they make amends, we find out that it's Bella's birthday, and she has a gift way out in the woods, a small little cottage for she and Edward and their new family. It's very cute, very demure. And when they get there, they decide to do some things and have a little revisit from a month ago. Yeah. So again, I would like to know, what is it like? Like, what does that feel like? Because it seems pretty euphoric, and how can I say this? I don't know anything about these type things. I don't for real. So I'm just wondering, like, what is it? But then reality sets in again. My boy Charlie, he's been going through it. He's worried about his child, unlike her mom. And he's very much so like, okay, I just want to talk to her. I want to see her. How's she doing? Because the last thing he knows is she was sick and going to some retreat. So it's like, what is going on with my baby? Well, they are stalling him out, and they're going to tell him that she died, and then they're going to move Jacob, because he imprinted. He doesn't like the idea of Nessie being too far away. So he comes up with this brilliant yet very unorthodox plan. He reveals something. That did not sound right. I'm gonna say it again. So Jacob meets up with Charlie, and his plan is to show him that Bella is okay, though she is different, but not really showing him by showing Bella. I just made it confusing. Let me start again. Jacob's plan is to keep Bella and the family nearby. Only way he can do this is if Charlie and everyone else knows that Bella is alive and well. That way she can stay. But he has to let Charlie know that things are going to be different. The best way he can think of is to show that he is not who Charlie may think he is. And he literally reveals that he's a wolf by transforming right in front of him. Now, Charlie was already off-put by him taking his clothes off, which, I mean, if it was anybody else, I'm sure they wouldn't mind. And I'm not going to say any names. I'm just saying, if it was somebody else in that position, I don't think they would mind. But Charlie is like, Jacob, put your clothes back on. Like, this is weird, right? I get it. I agree. But then after the transformation, Charlie doesn't really question it. At least not in that moment. We don't see him question anything. He's scared, understandably. But then we get back to Bella, and she's kind of upset that Jacob even revealed this, because it's like, okay, you're putting my family in danger by letting him know anything. Like, why would you do that? But Charlie doesn't know the whole story. He just knows that Jacob is different and Bella is different in her own way, and that he has a new grandniece, granddaughter, niece, grandniece, grandniester, granddaughter, niece, grandniece. If Bella can make up words, so can I. Okay. I think that is kind of interesting that Bella is able to restrain herself around all these people that she loves, right? Because she has her baby, she has Jacob, she has Charlie. And every time she's around somebody, she doesn't want to rip their throat out. I mean, maybe internally, but she's not like acting on it. So I think that's pretty cool. We know Jasper couldn't do it. Charlie makes some type of comment about the baby having Bella's eyes. And I'm just like, how can you even tell? It's computer generated. So now everybody's just living life in bliss. You know, they're doing their day-to-day family thing. And the only problem that they're having, the only thing that is kind of ruining their mojo, is the fact that their kid that was born in like a month's time of conception, she's growing pretty fast. And not like, you know, celebrity kids, even faster than that. She's growing at a rapid pace that is unexplainable, and they don't know how much time they have with her. Now that has to be scary, because one, they didn't even know this was going to be possible. And now it's like, okay, well, is she going to be here for a long time, or is this just like a visit type thing? Like, how does this work? So they try to do whatever they can, you know, really spend some time together. They're out playing in the snow, and their cousin Ulysses, that's not her name, Urena sees them playing out in the snow one day, and she has this look on her face, like a devastating anger but satisfaction all at the same time. And she goes to the Volturi. She tells them the Cullens have committed a crime. And I'm just like, okay, so was Bella not supposed to be like doing stuff with Edward when she was a human being? Because what do you mean? What crime did they commit? Well, turns out she thinks that the child Renesmee, Nessie, Nini, Nesnes, Riri, Nene, the child is an immortal child. According to legend, well, their reality, because it wasn't legend, immortal children are kind of like little devils, right? They wreak havoc. They go around killing people. It's not really a good thing to keep them around, and they didn't keep them around for very long. And the reason why Urena knows this is because her mother had an immortal child, and that's when you bite a child when it's like a baby and it stops growing or something like that, or whatever, at whatever age the child is bitten, is that's where they remain, right? Just like with Bella, she's now always going to be 18 years old. So the kid, 5 years old, 3 years old, however old, will always be that age. It's against the law to do that. So now the Volturi are after the family. Aliston left a note talking about some gather all your things and they'll be here at this time. Like, girl, why would you leave right now? We need all hands on deck. So we're racing against time with Renesmee. We don't know how long she's going to be here. We have the Volturi coming after us. I'm saying us like I'm here. Like I'm there. You know, watching it, you feel like it though, you know? Like, man, they about to come get us. What we gonna do? Jacob, let me get on your back. Oh, just playing. They have to convince the Volturi that the little girl is not an immortal child. She's not going to wreak havoc. She's not going to, go around doing all these destructive things to society. But they need witnesses. So they go around to all their vampire friends all over the world, gathering people to be on their side in this deposition. I don't know what to call it. Very interesting characters. A bit dramatic. Benjamin with his... I'd like to hear what they have to say. Like, okay. Then you have people who really didn't want to be there, but they like, I ain't doing nothing else. I might as well come. And you have people who came who were uninvited. We do not care what you did, Carlisle. He's very interesting. I don't know his name, but he's interesting. Here we are. We are lining up the troops to go and fight. Well, to go let it be known that Urena is a mother lie. Okay, they didn't say it like that, but they wanted to. So in the meantime, Bella is practicing for war. She's trying to, somebody's walking outside my window. I'm not used to this. Bella is trying to strengthen her gift of being a protector. Gonna be a protector. No, I'm not gonna say it. No, what is it called? She is a shield. So she's trying to strengthen that, but also spend time with her kid. Because it's a lot going on. At this point, they still don't know what's going on with Alice and why she left. But she did leave a clue that only Bella would think to even look for. And that is J. Jinx, Seattle, Washington. J. Jinx is a well-rounded individual. He does a little bit of this and a little bit of that. This time, he provided Bella with a service that only included Jacob and Renesmee passports. Alice don't think anybody's gonna make it out alive. She is very much so knowing that at the end of the day, nobody's gonna be here. All of this is for nothing. Just like Edward said, I can't help but think that all of this is happening because I fell in love with a human. Yeah, it is. It really is, because you're the only one who can produce a child with a human. Okay, nobody else can do this. And this is what you choose to do. This is what everybody has come to. They're about to lose their lives because you wanted to be with Bella and have a baby. Being irresponsible has brought you here. And then make sure to get Charlie out of town, because you know, when it comes to his baby, he is going to be front and center. If she doesn't answer the phone, he will pull up. And now he has his granddaughter niece. So now that's even more reason to pull up. Now, I do think it's interesting, even though they already explained, that Charlie doesn't question why she's like a foot taller. He says it, but he's not like, what's going on? But he knows that everything is under a need to know basis, and there's some weird stuff going on. So yeah, bruh, when I say I'm so annoyed, this is like the third time I'm recording this because this freaking microphone this one died. It died. And now, oh my God, I'm so over it. I'm so over it. Hold on. Let me see. Where did I leave off? Okay, let's try this again. So we get to the battle scene, which is supposed to just be a conversation, but we know that's not going to happen because it's already so much tension, right? Renesmee tries to show Arrow that she is who they say she is. She is the real child, okay? Her mom risked her life to bring her into this world, literally. So yeah, she's real, right? And Arrow, for a second, believes her and goes with it. He doesn't question it. He just kind of like, oh, the child is from young Bella. You know, he does that whole thing. But then he starts to play games. And they already know that this is something that he would do because they know him to be this way. He starts questioning, well, how do we really know if this is going to be who she is and how she'll turn out, and how we know she's not going to just flip the script on one of us one of these days, you know? That's when it turns into something else. But right before that, Alice comes. She shows up and she's like, you know, I have to show you that I have more evidence. So she does her little thing and she shows him. He's still like, no, Urena or Irina or whatever her name is, the hater, she gets got because they like, okay, you lied about all of this with this kid. You told us she's gonna be one of those demons. She's not. So now you gotta go. I mean, I think that happened beforehand. In the midst of this, she gets murked. I don't know when it happens. But the battle begins. But right before the battle, Alice, when she realizes that Arrow is not going to listen and he's going to do what he wants to do, she signals for Bella to say goodbye to her child forever, basically, because Jacob is going to have to take care of her. And they're going to go off and live this imprinted life because everybody's about to die. Alice starts it, okay? She kicks him Arrow and all hell breaks loose. Now, I will say this battle was pretty, vampires getting their heads ripped off left and right. You know, wolves are being crushed. It's an amazing sight to see. Not like that. It was just a good fight scene until it wasn't, because all of this was not real. It was a vision, and that kind of pissed me off. Not to say that I want people to die, because I didn't, but seeing how everything went, like that was a fight. You know, I didn't expect them to pull out all the stops like this. They did their thing, but then this other thing happens right after the battle, the fake battle. And I think it's quite interesting because they try to make it seem like it's about Arrow and letting him know that Renesmee is a real kid. It's really about Jacob. It's about Jacob and Renesmee. They try to make it less creepy, but it doesn't work. These two people walk up. It's a Guy and his auntie. He is a child who is, or was a child who was born half human, half vampire. Now, he says he's 150 years old, but he reached his full adult size when he was 7. 7 years after he was born is what how he worded it. So you're trying to be like, okay, technically Jacob and Renesmee are only 7 years apart because in a few more years she'll be an adult sized person. But my question is, though she will appear to be an adult, will she mentally not be a 7-year-old? Like, how does that work? I don't know. It was still weird. I don't know. But that's pretty much it. But then we ended with a very touching, beautiful gift from Bella. She shows us, by way of Edward, all the moments that led up to their forever. It makes you want to cry a little bit. I didn't cry, but I probably did. I'm not going to talk about that right now. It was very touching. It was a nice scene, just seeing their love story play out. They've been through a lot in these past year and a half or however long it was. So, closing this out, I would like to know from you guys, as a viewer of the Twilight series, what do you think about the story? Like, does it flow for you? What do you think about the plot? Is there anything that you would change about how the story panned out? The characters, what do you think about the main characters? Would you have made the vampires the winners of this whole thing? Would you have made Edward the guy? Or would you have made Jacob the guy and have his story take the helm? Curious to know. Were you one of those Twilight fans who were there from the beginning? Like, did you camp out during the premieres and everything? Because that was crazy. Like, people were in droves outside, laying on the ground, sleeping out before a movie premiere. Is crazy. Were you one of those people? Also, they have been talking about redoing the series, redoing the movies, and shooting them again with a whole new cast. What do you think about that? Do you think it should be left alone, or do you think, this is one of those franchises that can be redone? If you think so, who would you cast as the main characters? And what do you think about Stephanie saying that she would rewrite the whole thing? Like, would you read a rewrite of this epic series, or would you want to just keep it the way that you know it to be? I have a lot of questions for you in this video. I understand that, but please comment below because I really want to know. Again, if you haven't listened to the New Moon and Eclipse, they are on podcast streaming platforms, the Blush Bunny podcast. Want to say thank you to my executive producers for helping me out over on Patreon. I'm going to make some more changes to my Patreon, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, that's it for now. Oh, follow me on Instagram. A lot of people aren't getting notifications, so follow me on Instagram so that you know when I post at the blush bunny _. Yeah, that's it for now. With all of that being said, if you haven't done so already, be sure to click the like button and hop on over to that subscribe button, hit the bell. As always, I'm all ears. Until next time, the beginning is forever, and forever is the end. No. Bye. If I could go, go, I'll pack my bag soon as you say, baby, vamos, we'll fly away like there is no tomorrow. Ow. Oof. Yeah, so I feel like I've done a million years. Wait, what's the words? What's the words? Oh my god. I don't never know the words to none of these songs I be breaking out singing. What's the dang on words, bro? Now I gotta look it up. Wait, what's the name of the song? Sleep something. No, that's the name of the group. Turning Page. Sleeping at Last. I've waited a million years. But I'd wait a million more for you. All right. I will stop. Oh, goodness. Oh, God. Okay. Girl. Okay. I'm going to stop. For real. I'm not going to do that this time. Not in this record. Okay, I can't guarantee that I won't break out in song again, but just know. All right. I just had to try to comb my hair because I flat ironed my hair last night. I knew that I was going to be doing this video today. And it don't look like I flat ironed it. Like, why is it so poofy? I was sweating last night in my sleep, and I ain't got no fan in this new room. But still, it's like, and it looks stiff on camera. Girl. Is this thing flying around? It's a gnat in here. If y'all see it in the camera, ignore it. First of all, this new place have gnats everywhere. I think it's a gnat nest. I don't know where it just went. Yeah, it's right there. It's on the light. It's flying. Oh, I was back over there. You know what? Forget it. Sellotape into sitting pretty uptightly. I don't know what they're saying in that song. Keep you not by side of there. Before it, I'm free for the call. Up and out, my begin. Was on. Sellotape and undo. All right, I'm done.